Hey, what is up? What's going on, guys? Joe here, 690 ADV, radio 690 ADV, 690ADV.com. Hey, thanks for stopping in. Welcome to the podcast. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a good day. Today, we're going to talk about standing on your motorcycle or standing up. This is really, for most of you seasoned riders and stuff, I really would appreciate it if you'd comment and explain why you stand up on your motorcycle. And I'm going to explain why most people stand up on their motorcycle and what the benefits are of standing up on your motorcycle are, and how it makes a huge difference in a lot of things on your motorcycle, especially if you're going to adventure travel and you're going to get off road. And it even helps on the road too for certain situations. Anyway, don't forget, subscribe to our podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker. You can catch us on all of those. Just search on your whichever podcast platform you're using. Just search Radio 690 ADV, and you can find us on that, and we sure would appreciate it, especially if you can give us any feedback or comments or any write-ups. Anyway, on to dual sport tips. Some of the things, this is really going to be for new riders or maybe guys that are coming from the street that are getting into dual sport, and they're looking for some tips for riding. And you might have seen some adventure guys or some dual sport guys, and they were standing up on their motorcycle, and you're like, well, that looks kind of weird. Why in the heck would you do that? Standing up on your motorcycle has a lot of benefits, and it is one of those practices that you really can never learn enough of it, because it's a skill and you can only really get better at it. You don't really see MX riders standing a whole lot, except for whenever they're jumping or when they're coming through the whoopties or the whoops. Those are the bumps on the racetrack and stuff like that to absorb a lot of the energy and stuff like that. It allows the body to shift and move. But for dual sporting or adventure riding, when you're getting off road with your adventure bike or dual sport bike or enduro or any of that type of stuff, standing does a few things, especially let's start with on the road, even off-road too. Depends on how long you're riding per session. Standing up on your motorcycle can relieve a lot of fatigue. It just helps. You can stretch your calf muscles. You can get planted on the foot pegs. You can stand up. You can, get on the balls of your foot, and you can basically stretch your calf muscles. I do it all the time. I have really bad knees. It helps me a lot when I've been riding for long stretches to get off the seat, get some of that fatigue. It's amazing how a lot of that disappears pretty quick when you stand up. It really does help. Any of you other riders out there, if you have ailments or something like that, why do you stand up and what do you do? There are just certain tips and trips or tricks on a bike that you can do when you're riding to relieve a lot of tension and pressures and stuff like that. But there's more to it just standing up than just doing that. There is a true benefit for riding with standing up too on an adventure bike that you really need to stand. You don't have to stand. It just makes it a whole lot easier, and it really makes it a little bit safer when you're riding off road. But on the road, really the benefit of it is fatigue, maybe going over railroad tracks, things like that. It definitely helps with that in the fatigue side when you've been punching down a bunch of miles on the highway. Now, moving on, getting to the dirt, there's huge benefits to it. The same that I just spoke about with being on the highway or riding on the road, the same comes with dirt too. Number one, my biggest benefit for standing up when I'm off road, it gives me a better field of view. It allows me to scan and see the terrain that I'm doing better, to pick a line so that I can be more proactive for what I'm riding through the terrain. And it allows me to have more balance on my motorcycle too than when I'm sitting, especially if I'm in technical stuff and I have to go sort of slow first gear, no more than second gear, depending on, like I said, the terrain. It really does help. And what it does help for is for loose stuff like rock and sand and things like that, because what it will allow you to do is it allows you to shift your body and move body weight. So if you're riding your motorcycle and you need to get to a certain, shifting position to maneuver that bike, say either around a rock or a stump, a tree, anything. You pick it. Standing up is kind of a big deal. And I know a lot of you seasoned riders, if you're watching this, some may tune out. I'd appreciate if you'd put down in the comments some of the benefits of why you stand up and how it helps you out, because to help other riders, because we do get a lot of people that watch and listen to this stuff. And I know it sounds kind of stupid and redundant, but a lot of people do learn from this channel, and they don't just learn from me. They actually really do learn from the comments that are down in the video, in the comment section. So if you do make comments, I do appreciate it. Thanks so much. So standing, it allows you to be more flexible, allows you to have movement. It helps relieve fatigue, and it allows you to have a better field of view of what you're looking at when you're riding off-road. And it's one of those things, it's very awkward if you've never done it. So if you're just getting into dual sporting or adventure riding and you are going to plan on going off-road, no, you don't have to stand. You can sit down. I see there's a lot of guys that just don't stand. That it doesn't feel right for them. They don't want to do it, and that's okay too. But if you can practice and learn, the best thing to do is if you're at home and you have a very unbusy area and you can just stand up and toot around, or if you have a front yard that's big enough, or if you have a backyard that's big enough, you can get out there and just stand. It's not about the speed. It's really about slow motion. So the slower you can go standing up, the more efficient you will be when you're off-road. And if you have any obstacles like trees or anything like that you can practice with, it's awesome. And if you just practice in dirt or even in grass, that helps a ton too, because you just never know when you're going to need it, and you always practice it. I practice it all the time, whether I'm riding around the parking lot, heck, or if I'm just riding around the neighborhood or any of that. It's always good to just get a little practice in on standing up, because the real benefits are actually off-road, is where you truly will shine with that, and it'll make it a whole lot better. So, but that's really it. It helps you, relieve some fatigue, but in all reality, like I said, better field of view, and allows you to shift your body weight, move around, maneuver the bike a lot easier, because when you're up and your legs are basically straight up. Now, you don't want to be standing up like a tree. You want to have your knees just slightly bent a little bit, and then positioned backwards towards the back of your seat. Not all the way to the back, but just a little bit, maybe like if you were sitting in your seat, maybe 2 fists side by side, that distant back from your normal seating position. And by doing that, I'm telling you, just do a little practice. It's going to feel a little weird, but when you stand up by pushing and shifting the bike, and with that field of view, and you can see, you'd be really, really amazed with a little practice what you could do with standing up with that right there. You can make tighter turns. You'd be able to make turns you wouldn't even be able to make sitting down by standing up. And I'm sure people will make comments below, or if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to it in your car or something like that, you can find this. Remember that all of our podcasts are syndicated on our YouTube channel. But you'll be able to notice that you can do a lot of things that you couldn't do with sitting down, with much, much more ease with some practice. So it's kind of a tool that you should work on, and all adventure riders and dual sport riders, if you're new to it, or if you're coming into the sport, or if you're getting into riding off-road, definitely learn how to stand up and ride off-road, because it really will help you out. I promise you that. So anyway, standing up, the benefits of doing it is really, it's just going to make your riding literally a whole lot better off-road, and it's going to help relieve fatigue on the highway. And you're going to be a whole lot safer to if you have to basically, get off that bike or anything like that. You're not going to be planted down into the seat. You can actually get off the bike if you're going to go down. Remember, you can replace a bike. You can't replace yourself. Never ride the bike all the way to the ground if you can help it. So anyway, that's kind of like a tip today on standing up and off-road riding. And I hope this helps. Even if it helps one person, that'd be great. That's really what this channel is all about. It's not about, if I can help one person, it makes my day. So I appreciate your time. And don't forget, subscribe, be a part of it. Find us on YouTube, find us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. Don't forget, subscribe, be part of it, and we appreciate your time. And just remember, practice, practice, practice will make you a better rider. This is Joe, 690 ADV, Radio 690 ADV, 690 out.